So, what is the Rails philosophy? In this case, our Rails philosophy here is convention over configuration. By having a place for a folder like models, a folder like controllers, and a folder like views, if we follow these same conventions, we don't have to tell Rails or any other program how to deal with parsing data, how to deal with looking up some resource. And this really helps things be consistent. When we name our particular classes, Rails helps enforce this. So in the case of an app that deals with movies, we'll have a movies controller, which is capitalized, which typical Pascal case, capital M, capital C. It lives in a file named movies_controller, and it maps two files in our views folder with a subdirectory of movies. And we have a file called show.html.haml or show.html.erb, a show action that has a particular rendering pipeline. We'll see that. And the goal here for Rails is don't repeat yourself. By calling everything movies, movies controller, movies directory, this will allow us to keep things in the same place without writing a ton of code to look up the particular resources. And Rails will give us a lot of functionality for that. Rails works because it follows a philosophy that it's sort of built on Ruby. This is one of the things that can sometimes be confusing to learn, but when you get used to it, is hopefully something that will feel really powerful. So Rails is built on Ruby features like introspection and metaprogramming. So how do we know what table to load? How do we know what methods will exist on our models? Rails uses metaprogramming to build the methods for us based on the data that's in the table. Locks or closures in Ruby feature prominently into Rails. They exist for database actions. They exist for rendering views. We'll see a bunch of them. Common things in Rails as a framework, modules or mixins extract common functionality. So we'll see when we get to Active Record how various functionality for reading, updating, and so on is provided. And finally, Ruby symbols are commonplace in the Rails framework in most places within Rails. So instead of using strings, we'll use symbols to connote that this piece of data is something structural about our application. Database column names will be symbols and not strings. Inherent properties like ID we'll use as a symbol and so on. So that is how we should think about sort of Ruby and Rails together.